Hello guys, today we are gonna rank all killers based by their perks, their fun while playing the killer, and the fun when you play against that killer. This is my personal opinion only, so if you think some killer has better perks just because they give you better advantage or that or something else, write it in the comments. If you think some killers would need to be higher, you can leave the argument down in the comments. So, firstly, we're gonna. You know what? Actually, I think we should rate killers based from latest to oldest, because some of these killers are weaker than all the newer ones. So we're gonna start from the bottom, then from the top. So firstly, we have Ken Kaneki, also known as the Ghoul. His perks are, for me, they are kinda okay. While playing with him, it can be fun. I mean, he can just go to the walls like a Spider-Man in high speed, so and that makes him really fast, but not faster as the Blight. But if you play against him, if you play a couple of matches with the Ghoul, it can be kind of boring. So, but the skill behind the Kaneki, like you can shoot yourself through the wall, so you can cut off the survivors from dropping you to the pallet or vault a window. That's like really skill, and it's, I think, only counterplay to Kaneki is if he like wait. I'm trying to describe how it would be. Like if he grabs onto you while in his power, you can just like drop a pallet before he goes to you, so he would need to actually vault that pallet. Or no, if he's about to grab onto you, drop a pallet, because he would need to vault, then he would need to wait for his power. So for that only, I think I'm gonna put it in A tier, just because I play a lot against the Kaneki and it was so boring after the 10th. Next we have Houndmaster. Houndmaster, her perks are kinda okay. Playing with her, it could be fun, but she's, I think, one of the baddest some of the worst killers, because playing against her is boring, but playing also with her is kinda boring. I didn't play with her, but just it seems like that way she's not actually so fun. I mean, she's so easy to play, and she almost has no counterplay. I didn't see a lot of the counterplay against her, but only thing you can try to do is just, if she sends her dog onto you, you can just stun the dog, and that's all. But also, she would be bad in a more like open maps, because you can easily dodge her dog unless you're on closed map where there are all these walls and she has better advantage and angles. But it could be up to the player. Some players would find her better on open maps, while some of them find her good on the closed maps and bad on the open maps. So just for that, I can give her, let's go with B. Dracula. His perks kinda trash. While playing with him, it can be fun. Against him though, not so great. I'm gonna put it on B tier on top because he has a power. I mean, he has 3 powers. He can turn into the dog, which he can jump twice. He can jump to you twice unless he hits you the first time. He can turn into a bat and become the spirit, which she has really easy counterplay. With spirit you just need to walk when she phases, and you would hear it if you hear like sound of the loud breathing song, yeah, on top of the B tier. Vecna, his perks, if we don't add Franklin's combo, his perks are kinda okay. I mean, Dark Arrogance is only good on wall builds, but it can be really punishing if you try to respect pellets when in the chase, because it would stun you 20% longer. But he's also kinda bad because he has 4 powers, and his 4 powers aren't so easy to select because you need to press the arrow keys, not with your mouse, not with the WASD, arrow keys, and you need to manage in that. Playing with him, it can be fun when you just zoom around around the map. But playing against him, sometimes it can be fun, sometimes it can be boring, but I will put him in A tier just because he has 4 powers and he's really skilled. The Unknown. He has one of the best perks, which literally transfers your terror radius to the generator. And that generator, unlike the Pyramid Head's perk Trail of Torment, doesn't go off if the gen is repaired. So just because of that, I mean, you need to understand firstly his power, because he can leave husks behind. I don't know what they are called. I'm calling them husks. And you need to manage a lot when you play against him. He can shoot you from all of different angles because his power allows him to bounce off the wall once. So that can have fun trick shots if you're Kobe and literally hit everything. And just because of that, he's one of the best killers. He has one of the best teleport powers in the game, so only because of that I'm putting it in S tier. Good Guy, or the Chucky. Chucky is really small, and that makes him hard. And also need to control his Slice and Dice, which is his ability. Firstly, he has Hidey Ho, in which when he goes, he can be, I think, 20 seconds undetectable, which means he doesn't have terror radius, he doesn't have red light. So, and also, really small makes him really hard to blind. So if you can master that, you are the better. But playing with him is fun. Playing with him is very fun, but playing against him, it can be kind of frustrating. So I'm gonna put him on bottom of the S tier, even though he has a strong perks. He's one of his perks, Friends Till the End, literally makes your obsession exposed for 20 seconds, but if you hook the obsession, you can change obsession. So, and also shows Obsession Zora for 4 seconds, but if you have something like Little Pursuer, you can extend that to 6 seconds. Just because of his perks and his fun element in playing as the killer, it's gonna put him in the S tier, but he's like, if we don't talk about anything, how he has good perks, how is they like in chase. He's literally one of the best killers, in my opinion. Xenomorph. I don't want to talk about Xenomorph because I hate him, but he's really good. Two of his perks are kinda trash, one of him got buffed, so he's kinda good. Alien Instinct, which makes you oblivious for 60 seconds, so you cannot hear terror, hear terror radius, but I don't know how oblivious works, I only know how undetectable works, but I've been told it's kind of the same thing, but they told me if you're oblivious, you cannot hear killers. But I can still hear them. I don't know how that functions. So, but one of these perks, which is Rapid Brutality, which gives you 5% if you hit a survivor for like 60 seconds. But you cannot gain Bloodlust, which is kinda bad, but it's also good. I'm gonna put him on bottom of the B tier. Sorry. Bottom of the B tier, just because I hate him. I hate him so much. Singularity, one of the most complicated killers. His ability is so he can put like cameras on top of the buildings, trees, but he cannot go too high, and he has his own item when in the match, which does not appear in regular matches if that killer ain't in that match, which is an EMP. When he puts a camera on the wall, you can activate the EMP to sabotage that camera and destroy it. But that camera also allows him to place a camera on you, but also he can place cameras on you when he's not in that camera. And he can teleport to you through those cameras and without that cameras. But when he does that, he goes to the overclock mode, which gives him a lot of haste. I don't know how much I forgot. Sorry, but don't drop pallets on him. Pre-drop pallets, which means you drop a pallet before killer is under it, so he can destroy that pallet, because if you drop a pallet on him, you cannot stun him. He will just destroy that pallet, but he will be hindered for so much. And also he has one of the two best perks, Forced Hesitation, which slows you a lot when he downs a survivor. And Machine Learning, which if you damage the generator and survivor repairs it, he will gain 45%. He will gain haste and undetectable for 45 seconds, and I think it's like 10% haste. But he's kinda hard to play. If you play against him, it can be annoying. But if you play with him, some of them find him fun. So just because of that, I'm putting it on top of the A tier, maybe S tier, but just because of the gameplay, he will go to A tier, because you need to learn how to manage your cameras without them being destroyed. Skull Merchant D tier. Skull Merchant is one of the worst killers with even worse perks, even though they reward her. She's still one of the worst killers. Knight. Knight is boring, but also he has one of the best perks, and that's why I don't get logic of the behavior. If the killer is bad or it's boring, it will have some of the best perks, and I don't know why. Hubris. If you stun a killer, you're exposed for 20 seconds. Hex Face the Darkness. If you damage a survivor and is outside of the terror radius within when 28 seconds, when it goes about 28 seconds, it will activate and the survivor who's damaged will scream. And that's used perk, not always, but if it gets a lot of usage in possible hex builds, which literally means you play hexes, only hex perks, and you need to win that game with the hex perks. And also he has a perk Nowhere to Hide, which makes when you punch a generator, when you kick a generator, you see all auras of all survivors for 5 seconds. Which is really useful because you can damage a lot of generators and you will just almost always see the auras of the survivors. But in the survivor gameplay and killer gameplay, he's one of the boring killers, even though he has a good perks. But he's better than Alien, so which in the perks category. So I put him on top, in the middle, on top of the in the middle, but Xenomorph is on the bottom. Wesker, or how some of them call him Whiskas. He has good perks. He has good perks. Superior Anatomy. If survival vaults, fast vaults, you gain 40% vault speed for 8 seconds, which has a really good usage in vault speed builds. One of the fun perks of him. One of the most fun perks to use with him or some of the other killers. Superior, no. I forgot what is the name of the perk, but when you pick up a survivor, when you carry him to the hook, you see all survivors in 20-meter range. And Terminus, if you damage a survivor, firstly it does nothing, but if you damage a survivor, but then final generator gets repaired, until you open the exit gate, everybody will be broken, which means they will all be injured and they cannot heal to be healthy. But if they open the doors, that effect lingers for 30 seconds. In killer gameplay, he's good. He's actually really good. But survivors, it can be boring, it can be frustrating, just because of the hitboxes and like dodge counterplay. His only counterplay is just to dodge. Because if you don't, you will be infected with Ouroboros. Everybody who plays Resident Evil knows what Ouroboros is. Which makes you... If he grabs you, if you're fully infected, and if you're healthy, you will be... He can pick you up and then carry you to the hook without being downed. Only counterplay is if you know how to time pallets, you can stun him with a pallet. But if you know how to dodge, you can dodge all his attacks. I will put him on top of Kaneki in the A tier, just because I find him kind of fun and kind of boring. Dredge. Dredge is useful killer, maybe boring. He has good perks. One of them allows you to open a locker and you see all survivors for 8 seconds, I think. I forgot. He has a really long name for the perks. Septic Touch is one of the worst perks. I forgot what it is. He has one of the worst perks. You don't think of it that much and you'll forget what it does, even though if you know what it is. And Dissolution, if you damage a survivor, when they drop a pallet, that pallet will be destroyed. So he, now when it comes to gameplay, he can be sometimes complicated, but it's really complicated to learn, but it's really easy to see when he will teleport back, because he leaves like, I don't know, like hole in this hole in the air, and if you go through that, you will cancel his power. But if you don't do that in time, he can teleport to you and hit you. So it basically gives you a free hit. But one of his frustrating things about is his second part of the power, which is darkness. I know it has a different name, but it's really easy to think of it as darkness. it doesn't allow you to see more than few meters from you. And it goes around 35 seconds when we took the timer and actually run the test to see how long it goes. He can be pretty boring if you don't know what you're doing. No, it can be pretty frustrating if you don't know what you're doing, but if you know what to do against him, you'll know when to go back, when to not go back, when you can just walk through the shadow and when you cannot just walk through the shadow. He has really counterplay, but his teleport ability is one of the worst abilities. You need to go to the locker, then you need to select a locker, then if one of the locker is locked, you need to go to the locked locker first. And it takes around 2 seconds to come out of the locker, which paired to the unknown, you can teleport instantly without any limitations. Your only limitation is your husks. So he's, I mean, like, I don't know, I'll just C tier. He has one of two worst perks. Third ain't so useful, but it is useful on some occasions. But he feels boring. Sadako or Onryo. I hate this killer. This killer made me rage so much that I almost broke my table. Because, firstly, if she's manifested, you cannot see her walking. She's literally invisible, then invisible again. So it goes like ticks. One tick, she's visible. 2 ticks, she's invisible. And it has like, it goes around 1 second you can see her, another second you not. She can condemn you, and if you don't put the tapes in the right TV on time, you will be fully condemned. Then she can more you, so that means she can instantly kill you without hooking you. And she has 3 good perks. Call of the Brine, which regresses generator faster as the time goes. Merciful Storm, you need to hit a really hard skill check that will just appear if you start hitting it until when you finish the gen. And if you don't finish the gen will be locked for 18 or 20 seconds. And the Scourge Hook Floods of Rage, if you unhook survivor from the Scourge Hook, you see all survivors for 7 seconds. Just because of that, I'm putting her in the S tier, because she can be complicated, but I feel it's really easy to learn her tricks, which could make you a better killer. I don't know. Buy her maybe 4th or 5th. Second we have next is Artist. Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Hook a survivor on a Scourge Hook. The gen will blow up for 15% regression. And you have only 4 hooks. 4 tokens for that, and you need to hook a different survivor each time. She places crows, which can fly to you, and firstly you'll need to just remove the crows, but if she hits you second time you get damaged. You take 1 hit. She's a really not too complicated, but she can feel boring and frustrating, but she's better. Just for the fun part, I'm putting her on top of the Houndmaster, but below the Dracula, because Dracula is more fun to play to me if you play with him. Pinhead, the one killer that made me rage a lot. He's extremely hard, and I can already put him to the S tier. Exploiting. Hookah Survivor. He will be oblivious until he cleanses the totem. Simple, but you can only hex him once. Deadlock. When one gen is completed, the gen with the most progress will be locked. Hello. So Deadlock. Next gen with the high progress will be locked for 25 seconds. Nemesis. Oh wait, I forgot to talk about gameplay and power. Firstly, his passive ability. It's called I forgot how it's called. Chain Hunt. And if the bar around your picture with survivor you're playing fills up, then Chain Hunt will be started. That means you will constantly will be hit by chains, which you need to attach from yourself. And also, you need to solve a box. A Madman configuration, and if he sees you, he will get Killer Instinct that he can teleport to you to interrupt that, but you still cancel the Chain Hunt. His only counterplay is just go for the box when he's in the chase. That's how I see his counterplay. He's so hard because his power allows you to place the chain somewhere, and if you hit the survivor, he will be chained and he will need to remove that chains. Next is Nemesis. He has Lethal Pursuer, which allows you to see on the start of the match all survivors for 9 seconds, but extends other aura reading abilities for 2 seconds, so that's one of the best perks in the game. Eruption. If you kick a generator, the generator will not lose its progress until you down the survivor, and all generators which have been hit before downing a survivor will lose 10% progression. And Hysteria, if you hit a survivor, he will get 30 seconds oblivious status effect for with a cooldown of Hysteria for 30 seconds. So basically you can just keep hitting them because Hysteria will be back in same time their obliviousness goes. And that's all his perks. He has zombies, which can firstly infect you, then damage you if you already been infected. But also he has ability that levels up. Firstly, if fails, you will be able to break pallets with your tentacle. But third, if you punch or if you press to attack with your tentacle will get to you back faster. So I'm putting him with his best pal Wesker, and I think I changed my mind. I'm gonna put Lich on top of the Kaneki. because they are both good. They can feel good in the chase and good outside the chase, but that depends on what are you doing. Next is Trickster, D tier, one of the most boring killers that ever existed. I'm gonna put him on top of the Skull Merchant because this guy is one of the most frustrating killers that ever existed, and he's only used just for his perks. Firstly, No Way Out. You hook 4 different survivors till the end game. If the survivors touch a door, that door will be locked for 12 seconds. But if the 4 different survivors were hooked before that, that extends to 48 seconds. Crowd control literally blocks windows. Only used with Blood Favor in chase builds. Because nobody in the right mind uses crowd control when you literally use claustrophobia to block all windows and pallets in chase, but only when the generator is completed. So it's useless without its other companion Blood Favor, because you could only block windows, but survivors can also loop the pallets, which is better because you can vault and the pallets. I'm getting so mad when I look at this guy. And also one of his other best perks is Starstruck, which means if you pick up a survivor, everybody inside, I think like 12, 16 or 20 meter radius, no, everybody in your terror radius will be exposed for 30 seconds. But that has a cooldown of 30 seconds, which is useful in backpack builds, but also outside the backpack build. Backpack build is you just hit a survivor, and if everybody is in your terror radius, you can just damage them, and you don't even feel their wiggle bar because you have Iron Grasp, which extends the wiggle bar and also slows it by 12%. You have Mad Grit, which means if you hit a survivor, when you successfully hit a survivor, survivor's wiggle progress bar is paused for 4 seconds, and you also have Agitation, which means your terror radius extends for 12 meters, and you have 18% haste when carrying survivor to the hook. Twins. They have one of the worst perks, except coup de grace, which literally extends your lunge and just consumes 1 token, and you get 2 tokens every time the gen is finished, but they are so clunky and so boring. I'm gonna put him on bottom of C tier. Blight, S tier. One of the most complicated killers that exists. One of the best perks. Undying, Blood Favor. Blood Favor blocks pallets. Undying gives another life to a Hex Totem, but only once. And his other ability I forgot, but I will edit it in the video so you can see which perk was that without you need to Google it. But his bump mechanic is so complicated that you will cry if you don't get even 1. Firstly, when you start your power, you have 5 charges. You can extend it if you put certain add-ons. Firstly, you need to bump. Then you can change your angle. If you see another survival, you change that angle and you just sprint to them, and then you damage them. But you don't insta down them. So that means you need to still work for your power. And just for that, that puts him top on top of the S tier, up with Unknown. And next is Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head. B tier, just because his add-ons are the worst. He has only one good perk, Trail of Torment, which I already talked about before. You damage a generator, you get undetectable for 60 seconds, then if survivor stop the generator from regressing, you lose that, and that has 60-second cooldown or 30-second. I think it's 60-second, but I already forgot. His power is you summon you summon a line which if goes up you damage survivor and torment them, and you can also leave trails if you hunt them, but your ability will need to go to on the cooldown to recharge. And if you torment them but not damage them, if you down them, you can send them to cages. And also if they hit third cage, you can mori them. And you can, when you, I'm sorry. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, when you try to hit a survivor, you will have high sensitivity, so you need to be precise. And also, if you want to upgrade your skill, you can learn how to predict the movement, which means if survivor just holds W and just goes randomly in some directions, you can learn how to predict that, so you can boost your skills with the Pyramid Head even more. And he's fun as the killer. He can be fun when playing as a survivor, we can win when you play against him, but most of the times it would be bad, it would be boring, not that boring, maybe boring, I don't know, it's your opinion. But for me, I think he's better than everyone in the B tier. Deathslinger, bottom S tier, just because you can easily dodge and easily cancel his power by simply not going to him when he shoots you and he just wants to bring you closer to him. He has good perks like Deadman's Switch, with if you hook a survivor, then survivor lets go of the gen, that gen is blocked for 45 seconds. Gearhead, I don't know what Gearhead does, I will edit it in the video, I'm so sorry. I cannot remember all the perks, but I know most of them. Next is Hex Retribution. If you cleanse a totem, Hex Totem, you will be able to see all survivors for 15 seconds. His power is, if you shoot a survivor, you can bring them closer to you, and if they let go of your hook, if they wiggle out of your hook, they become deep wounded, but if you hit them, you just get one health state down. Next is Oni. Oni is bottom S tier, just because his perks are kinda bad. They can be used in different builds, not on all occasions, but he's super fun to play. You literally just collect blood for your power, then just just dash around the map like and you're fast as Formula. Only thing bringing him down is his perks. Blood Echo, when you hook a survivor that leaves the survivors for 60 seconds hemorrhaged and exhausted, which just means they cannot use their exhaustion perks, but they can use other perks that don't need exhaustion, and that just feels kinda bad. But if you look at the other way, it's not bad, but it doesn't feel very good. Nemesis. If somebody who ain't your obsession stuns you with a pallet, that person becomes your obsession, and that's literally it. You can use it on Myers with obsession based builds, which just means you will have obsession alive entire game even though your obsession is dead. And Zashin's tactics, I think it's called. When survivors drop a pallet in range of that pallet, I think survivors are visible in 32-meter radius for 5 seconds. Next is Demogorgon, and I'm gonna put it in A tier on top of the Lich and Kaneki, just because he's simple, but he's stronger. You place a portal, and you can teleport to the other portal you place. Simple as that. Even though it's not the best teleport, the only thing bringing him up are his perks. Mindbreaker. If you repair a generator, you're exhausted and blind for 10 seconds. That's literally it, the easiest perks. Surge. In the 32-meter radius, if you down a survivor, then Gen loses 8% progression. That's it. Simple. And Claustrophobia. I said that's also the perk I talked about before. If you finish the generator, all pallets and windows are blocked for 30 seconds. And you also have increased lunge if you hold down your, I think was right button of the mouse, and you jump on the person and you deal 1 health state. And that's simple as it can be. Next we have Ghostface. Annoying killer, but still better than Kaneki. Kaneki just gets a free hit, but it's complicated and not that fun, while Ghostface can be fun, but not that skilled. Firstly, he has man, his perks are so hard. His perks are so hard to remember. I don't know, I will edit that, or you can Google it. I don't know anymore. I'm all ears. If survivor makes a rushed action in around 48 meters, they will be visible for 12 seconds, I think. Next is Thrilling Tremors, which blocks all generators around you for 60 seconds when you carry survivor. And I remember the perk, it's called Furtive Chase. If you hook a survivor, you get 10% haste and 10 seconds of undetectable, for 10 seconds you get undetectable and haste of 10%. And his power is really simple. You stalk people, and if you bring their meter all the way up, they become exposed. And if you combine some of the add-ons, you can make that stalk even more deadlier. So, but you can also cancel his power when crouching, and that's when he can blind. That's when he can stalk you if his power recharges. But he can also just crouch normally like a survivor without using his power, and that makes him even more deadlier because some of the maps have so little holes that can clear view of the survivors. So if you manage to find that spot, you can get a free hit, and when you combine Surge with that, you are gaining so much regression and surprise hits that's not even humanly possible to imagine. And he's so simple that he needs a big nerf. My opinion, Plague has one of the best perks. Super boring when played against, but so good when you play with her. Which brings her down again on top of the Kaneki. No, on bottom of the Kaneki. Kaneki is still better than Plague. She can vomit on you and make you broken if your meter of sickness fills up. And also, you cannot cleanse against her because she will get her second part of the power, which can literally deal you one health state. And that ability does have a cooldown. It has a cooldown. No, it doesn't. Because she needs a pulse, with which you can cleanse. And if you cleanse when she's around, she can pick up that. She can take that corrupted pool as her power, and damage you. And also, her ability has physics, so you can just fastly get your mouse to move left and right really fast, and you will hit a lot of survivors. There was even a challenge that was so hard, not many people in the DBD had completed it, and it needed to be fulfilled with 2 survivors be hit with her second part of the ability 2 times in one match. But that would need to be a 2-person. So that was so hard. Not many people actually did that. Next is Legion. Even though he received a buff, he ain't so fun when you start playing against him, and with him it can be fun. That's the only thing saving him for being the weakest in the C tier. No, actually no. Twins are worse. His power is he can run, and you hit a survivor. That survivor becomes deep wounded, and he gains increased speed, with which he gets killer instinct as well, and sees all survivors. If you combine with certain add-ons, he can see the whole map. And if he can deep wound 4 different survivors in the time his power runs out, he can get second hit, which downs a survivor. So his only counterplay is to not be in groups. Don't use pellets against him, because he can fastly catch up to you. Spirit. Oh wait, I didn't talk about perks. Mad Grid, Iron Maiden, and Discordance. Discordance allows you to see if two persons are working on a generator inside 128 meter radius. Mad Grid, you hit a survivor. Wiggle meter, wiggle progression, pause for 4 seconds. Simple as that. Iron Maiden, if survivor gets out of the locker, they get the exposed status effect for 15 seconds or 30 seconds. I think it's no, it's 20 seconds. So that perks are not that much used. They're mediocre, but Discordance is only perk that can get you some value if the people who you play against work as a group and somebody misses a skill check that will reveal them. So it gets you information, but not too much information. Next is Spirit. She has Spirit Fury. If you break 2 pallets, next pallet, if you break 2 pallets or 2 breakable doors, next pallet, the survivor drops on you is destroyed. And that is good with enduring. And also, she is one of the best killers just because of her power. She can literally phase and be like so fast. She can catch up to you and you cannot even know where she is, because you can only hear breathing, loud breathing, like crying. Loud breathing plus crying. That's how I describe her phasing. Her second perk is Rancor, which if generator is completed, she reveals all survivors for 5 seconds, but also can Mori Obsession when the all gens are completed. And I think it's I forgot what her perk third is. I will need to look it up, but I think it's Strider. No, Strider info. I don't remember her perks. I don't wanna Google it. Sorry guys, but this is a DBD. Nobody cannot remember all perks, so sorry. Next we have Clown. Clown is B tier, bottom of the B tier, because power. He has pink bottles and he has yellow bottles. Yellow bottles increase your speed as well as the survivor speed if they step through it for a few seconds. Then pink bottle, you throw it on the pallet or the window. That makes survivors hindered and unable to see clearly, like they are foggy or they are blind. So it's like that. And he's the best in chase, but also bad outside the chase. His bottles are more likely anti-loop mechanic, so you can play good against him if you know how to counter him in chase. I don't face a lot of clowns, so I don't know what his counter play is, so you can just look it up or whatever. Next we have Pig, one of the also bad killers, C tier for me. Still it's good against twins. She can crouch, and when she can ambush you, and she runs so fast, she can get a free hit. And also she has head traps. If you watched Saw, you know what the head traps are. She plays it when you're down, when you're hooked or in chase, I think. It cannot progress, and if it does progress, you need to go to the box and correct box to be correct, and you need to go to the every single box until you find the right one which can take off your head trap. And if you don't take it off in time, you die. In game, of course. Her perks are Make Your Choice, which makes the survivor who unhooks another survivor exposed for 40 seconds. And also that power has a cooldown. I think it's 30 seconds. And I don't know if it can be triggered twice. I seen it trigger more times than it should be. But it's one of the good perks. Surveillance. If you damage a generator, the generator will become white. But if survivor progresses that gen, the generator will be turned yellow. So it's used a lot with Ruin or the perks that can just give you information when the generator is progressing. And that's one of her best perks. And also other perks, Kershug, Hangman's Choice, I think, which makes everybody who repairs anybody who sabotages the hook inside the 4-meter radius will be seen until that hook is sabotaged. And her only counterplay is to remove the head traps, because if you don't remove head traps, firstly you can die of the head trap, and also you cannot escape through the gates. You can only vault, you can only go through the hatch. Again, if you go through the door while having that head trap, you will be instantly killed. Next is Freddy. They buffed him, they reworked him. He needed much better rework, and now I think he's in a better place. I would put him maybe on the middle of the B tier. I mean, he's not that good, but he's also kinda broken if you know what you're doing. Firstly, they rework his power. So before we had snares that would just place on the ground and they didn't move. They make survivors hindered. But now you can activate it so you can go through walls and slow survivors. So it's really good in chase. They made him a lot better in chase. And also his dream pallets aren't just dream pallets. That pallets can damage survivors when falling. I seen that. And also they can explode. But also that pallets now can stun you for some reason, I don't know. They didn't change much of his add-ons. They gave his perks a little buff, but not that much good buff. But Fire Up, and remember me, one of the Fire Up was the meme perk before back then, because it was so bad it somehow became a meme, like nerf like nerf Fire Up, but they nerfed it, but they actually buffed it with his token system changing into stacking system. So his power would stack every time survivor would complete a generator. Fire Up would get you 1 token and 6% haste to all things, and that is breaking pallets, breaking doors, vault speed, even the haste. And that's paired with vault builds, or the builds that can chase. They are good in the chase. They are most wanted builds right now. But also his teleport didn't change, but now you get to I don't know if you were capable before getting Killer Instinct when teleporting to the generator and if survivors were around. But now if you teleport to survivor who's healing and repairing the generator, you get Killer Instinct on them when you teleport to them. Next is Baba Sawyer or Leatherface. Better than Plague. Even though he's so easy, he is A tier. The only thing would make him maybe into S tier if I think Franklin didn't exist. But his power is, he has 3 charges and his power is to go really fast and just sweep with his chainsaw. And if he hits you, you go instantly down. And he has certain add-ons. No, wait, I cannot watch myself. He is the S tier, even though he ain't used just because of his add-ons, he's S tier. Just because one of his add-ons, which replenishes his stacks on his chainsaw when you just down the survivor with the chainsaw, and you can go infinitely to the 4th person and just killing them all. It's based on a situation, but it's good, really good. He has barbecue, which is one of the most used perks now. In the makes, if you hook a survivor, you in 40-meter radius use. Does it mention the radius? I think it doesn't. You get to see all survivors for 8 seconds. I think it's no, it ain't. What am I talking about? Next killer is Huntress. S tier. S tier. Better from anyone else. Firstly, her perks are trash. Except Lullaby, which is Noob Stomper. But her power and her add-ons and her chase aspects are so good. You can write a whole Bible on how she's one of the best killers. She has hatchets, 7 hatchets. She can throw the hatchet infinite range. If it hits you, you lose 1 health state. And with an Eerie Head, even though you have 1 hatchet, if you hit a survivor, you instantly down them. That's so broken. I even liked playing Huntress when it was 2v8. 8 survivors versus 2 killers. But she's so simple. So simple but so good. Next is Doctor. Yeah, I hate Doctor, D tier. No, wait. Twins are better than him. He's C tier. Bottom of the C tier. His perks are good. Monitor abuse, which lowers your terror radius when you're in the chase for 8 meters, but makes it normal when you're outside the chase. Overcharge, again like Holobrine, slowly regresses the generator until it becomes 200% regression speed, and overwhelming presence, which just makes your items deplete faster, but you have streetwise, you can kinda counter it. He ain't that good. He has a static blast that can inside of his terror radius, he gets to reveal all survivors, and they get 1 tier of the madness progression. Firstly, if you're in Madness 1, you get nothing. In Madness 2, you have skill checks would appear in random spots on your screen, and you get to see not so many Doctor clones. And also, third, you cannot do anything. Firstly, you need to remove that madness, get you back in tier madness 1. Skill checks would appear in all random places. You can also get reverse skill checks. You get to his terror radius gets transferred onto you, and also you get to see all his clones all the time. Not all time, but almost entire game. And also, if he shocks you, you cannot do any action for 2 seconds when it comes to chase. So that means you cannot vault, you cannot drop a pallet, you cannot even vault a pallet. He's so bad, but he has good perks. Next is Hag. Hag is good. I don't mean physically, I mean in the game. She has traps that if you trigger, that spawns clone of her, but you can also teleport to that traps. So that's what makes her good. She has Ruin, which regresses your generator to 150 seconds regression speed. Not that good. Before, you could regress it to 200 seconds, 200% regression speed. That's why people used it. Now it's kinda bad, but still used. Second, she has Devour Hope, which Devour Hope makes you so little of what you were before the final Devour Hope stacks. On 3 stacks, she gets to expose you, then insta down you. Then if she hits 5 stacks, she can mori you. But it's only thing that's good because it's Hex perk, so it can be found around the map. But if you have Undying, that would be tormenting. I still have traumas from that perk. But only thing I hate about Hack players is that they camp hooks with her trap. But in other ways, she's good outside the chase, but bad inside the chase if you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, you can be good in all means. Next is Myers. Michael Myers, one of the more popular killers before than now. He was literally one who boosted the knowings about this game. That's why this game is popular till today. Now, Myers is good. He ain't that good. He's good against all five of C tier killers, so I'm putting him on top of the clown in B tier, because he has good perks, but they're so mediocre. Some of them are bad. Dying Light, you give your obsession 33% bonus action speed when it comes to healing. I think repairing, hooking, cleansing, and I think that's all. But every time you hook a survivor, you get 1 stack, and that stack gives all survivors 3% slower action speed when it comes to healing, cleansing, repairing, and unhooking. I think that's it. Save the best for last. One of his best perks. If you hit survivor, you get 4%. No, 3% regress the successful hit cooldowns, but you only get one stack when you hit survivor. If you hit your obsession needs to be alive to be correct. Your obsession needs to be alive to actually use your perk. So if you kill your obsession, you don't get any value from that perk. And if you hit your obsession, you lose 2 stacks, which makes it really bad. And also he has play with your food, so if you escape your obsession's chase with your obsession, you get 5% speed boost, but you only can get 3 tokens, and every token is 5% haste, so it's kinda good. He ain't that good because other killers in terms of strength can beat him, not killers below him. He's the middle. He's like that one meal that you like and you don't like, but if somebody brings it up to you, you could eat it even though it ain't special. So he's like, to be more correct, to be more precise, he's like a plain sandwich. Normal sandwich. No salad, no tomato, no sauces, no anything. Just a plain ham and cheese. 2 breads. Normal sandwich. You can eat it. It's not good. It's not bad. But it still is in some ways good. His ability is stalking, not like a ghost face, because he can mori you. But that makes it more deadlier, because you have add-ons which can make you mori them and stay in tier 3. First tier, you're undetectable until you get to tier 2. Tier 2, you're a normal killer, but in tier 3, you have power to insta-down survivors for 60 seconds, and also you have bigger vault speed, but they are his add-ons, Tombstone and Tombstone Piece, which can make you mori survivors, but only downside to Judith's Tombstone is that you are 9% slower. And also, Feather makes it, you stay in tier 3, but only good thing about these 2 perks is that you need to have your stock progression is in tier 2 to tier 3 is increased to 400%, and if you run both add-ons, you will need the entire game just to get your power. It was so hard to get that achievement. I don't wanna do it again. And also Tombstone Piece, it just makes you more survivors, but you don't have any speed penalties, and that's why it's good, better than Judith's Tombstone, and that's why people use Tombstone Piece but not Judith's Tombstone. Second, four in the last 4, the OG 4, Nurse blinks. She can blink so fast. She can blink so fast 2 times, but you have a fatigue. She's a high skill. She has Nurse's Calling. She has Thanatophobia. Nurse's Calling, which reveals all survivors who are healing inside 28 meters. Thanatophobia regresses all speeds to repairing, healing, and all that, and just do that things for 3% for every survivor injured. But if you hook a survivor, that regresses to 12%. That adds to 12% penalty with that first penalties. So she's a high skill killer. She has a very complicated ability with her blinks. Her blinks allow her to teleport to high speed. She can go through walls, she can go through palace, she can go through windows. She doesn't have speed penalties. She has 2 blinks. But if she doesn't either blink first time, or if she doesn't blink the entire time, if she only has one blink and she doesn't use it, or use it but have certain add-ons that lowers it to 1, she can go into fatigue, but the fatigue is short. That's why she's high skill killer. She's good, she's OP, she needs to be nerfed. Third to last, Hillybilly. Hillybilly, S tier killer, because curving, if you're curve Hillybilly, you're gonna hit every single thing. If you're not curve Billy, sorry, you can only hit things that are straight, that are close to you. You are not professional Hillybilly. He has Lightborn, which makes you unable to be blinded. That's the toxic perk that everybody hates, and I still hate everybody that uses it. Tinker. If the generator has 70% progress, you are undetectable for 16 seconds, and also he has Enduring, which makes stuns by pellets 50% lowered. That makes you cannot dump take him. If you dump take him, that means you stun a killer that walked in front of him. He can get full AD and just hit you. If you do that, that's a free hit. That's why it's used with Enduring and Brutal Strength. And lastly, if you don't know, Hillybilly, when he's undetectable, his chainsaw is quiet. If you are undetectable as a Hillybilly, your chainsaw will be quiet. I watched a guy having a jump scare build on Hillybilly. That makes him deadlier. Deadly, and in every way deadly. Second to last, Wraith. Wraith is better than... No, he ain't better. He's a C tier. Bottom of the C tier. He needs to be reworked so bad. He can go invisible, but when he becomes visible, he gets increased launch, and that's the only thing. He's fast when he's invisible, and you can combine that with body blocking, so you can body block people that are in certain loops, certain corners, or just certain spot on the map that doesn't have a lot of space to go. His perks are kinda useless. Predator is his best perk. It makes a survivor who escaped chase, if the chase stops, that survivor is visible for 6 seconds. Bloodhound, it just increases the brightness of the pools of blood, but it doesn't change the difference in the quality of the perk. And also you have Shadowborn, which makes you 10% faster when blinded, which is so useless because you will never hit any of that. And final boy, the OG, the Trapper. Trapper is D tier because he has 2 best perks. If Agitation, which can be used in all builds, which can make you 18% faster when carrying a survivor. You have Brutal Strength, which makes you destroy pallets or breakable doors or generators 20% faster. And also Unnerving Presence, which makes survivors more frequent to get a skill check, but that skill check is smaller for 60% when they are in your terror radius. His power is so simple but so bad, you can literally win every time you get to face him. But except if that ain't the best trapper player you ever seen, you never escaping. He can place down a trap, and if you step on that trap, or if he gets on, or if he gets in his trap, that makes him that makes survivors stuck, while he can just open the trap and just reset it back. He gets a stun for a little, and that's it. While survivors, if combined with certain add-ons, they can be there for long enough for you to catch them up. But most popular build on him is the endgame, because they some people can survive endgame, but with Trapper they cannot. It's the only thing that's stopping them from going. Because you can put trap on a door, you can place trap on the loops, so that makes unsafe loops, unsafe pallets, unsafe windows, even the, but the doors are so easy to sabotage. If we watch from trap's view, you can sabotage the trap, but with all other things, no way out, remember me, Bloodhound, Noed. We don't want to talk about Noed. We do not. We do not. So, he's the one of the killers that can either, if you match him, he's either dumb, or is he high skill, high tier, high skill tier. And this is my list of killers based on their fun aspect and perk aspect, how good they are, how fun they are, and from my personal opinion, how they are like a killer. So if you think some killer is high tier, some would be lower tier, write it in the comments, and I will do again the review based on your judge. What do you think? If, I don't know, maybe Legion should be up because he's reworked, Dredge should be up because of his power, Dracula would be lower just because he doesn't have bad power, Myers would be higher just because of the add-ons. Again, write in the comments if you think I should make another list, but with your opinion. So that's it for the episode. So share the episode, subscribe, like, write in the comments if you would want me to make Survivor tier list, but with perks. So yeah, subscribe, like, share, and we will see each other in another episode. So that's it, and goodbye.